All right, welcome to another episode of Cognitive Cuisine. I am one of your hosts, Wize,
And I am Yayoi of Brain to Belly.
and again, we're excited to bring you another episode. So today we're going to talk about. Well, we had a great. We had a great. I had my first time experience with this presentation that Yayoi had, and I'm gonna let her talk about it. But it was such a great experience for me. I like it. It made me so connected with everyone in the group. It was such an experience, and it was something that afterwards I'm like, man, maybe I can implement that somehow into the course that I'm building, just as a way to have people when they start off the class or whatever it is, they start off in such a nice positive mindset and with an open heart, and so it was such a great experience. So I'll let Yayoi talk about it. Go ahead, Yayoi. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. No, it's called Heart Coherence, and it's a masterclass that I co-host or co-facilitate with a friend of mine who is actually in Australia, and he does something called Heart Coherence, and it really is about focusing on your heart and really being present from the heart. So it's really um, gosh, when you think in your head, like Tony Robbins always says, when you're in your head, you're dead. And to your point of stuck in your mind podcast, right? Like we're always stuck in our heads. But when you speak from the heart, when you take action from the heart, things really open up because you're connecting with energy. And the heart is electromagnetic. And so it gives out these pulses, right? And the thought behind heart coherence is that when you open up your heart, it expands that energy that's coming out from your heart to whomever and whatever is around you. And it creates the same frequency. Your heart has the same frequency as the earth.
Mm.
It's 0.01 hertz, I think. And so what it does is it connects the two. So you're in alignment with the earth, with energies around you. And this is just plain science. It's not woohoo magic stuff, right? You could feel like it is, but it's actually science because you align with the Earth's energy.
And that's some I definitely believe that's something I really do believe in, right? Because you get that when you're around certain people and their energy is just draining,
Hmm.
and so people might say it's woohoo or whatever it is, but people've probably experienced it and don't know what it is. They don't know that there's some real life
Right.
vampires out there who suck the energy from you
Oh, yeah.
with their negativity and with their attitude, and so it can be it can be very it can be very draining on
Yeah.
someone, right? When you're around such a draining person, such around someone that's just all about them and they're not about feeding into each other, right? Because like me and you get along so well because we feed into each other. Our
Right.
conversations are about uplifting and building each other and encouraging. That's how our relationship is built, right? So it's more important for me to have these type of conversations, right? Because it's nurturing, it's building, it's me learning, it's me sharing knowledge, it's me. So being able to have that kind of energy just keep feeding back and forth. Because even people, we're not even in the same room, but when you're connected vibration wise, even when you're not in the same room, regardless through camera or whatever it is, virtual, whatever, you can still feel that energy. You can still
Yeah.
be like, man, this was such a great conversation. I'm so wired because of,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Yeah. Like when we had our session, and Weiss, this was his first time attending this past, I think it was Tuesday that we had it. And my friend that co-facilitated, like I said, he's in Australia. So we're all doing this through Zoom. And it was a relatively small group. We only had like 8 people, but you could feel the connection that we all had once we
yeah.
started doing this. And, there are people from all over. space too, right? It's all over the place. And you can feel that we are all connected, and the energy, even in Zoom, you can feel that energy, and the conversations were flowing. And so it's really about tapping into your heart and connecting it with a heightened emotion.
Hmm.
My mentor, Joseph McClendon, he always calls it, what was it, significant, what was it, significant emotional episode or something like that, right? And so what brings you joy? So it could be something like, um, if you love the beach and just going to the beach, when you're at the beach, you can feel the sand on your toes and in the water, and that cool water kind of like lapping on your, feet and your legs, and then you have the breeze, you can smell the ocean air, all of that. You feel that, and you connect to your heart, and you picture that and picture yourself in that, and that brings you to that space. And what it does is it really opens up the electromagnetic field in your heart, and it spreads it. So it could be, there's a good example, like if you love dogs, imagine holding a little puppy in your arms and how it's squiggling and moving around, and it's trying to give you kisses and all this and that. That's like that. Or the first time, or like joyful moments with your child. Um, it's anything that can bring you any joy. For me, it's been, well, always my puppy. She's always a good one, but um, lately you know, imagine when I'm walking through the park when I'm with my dog, because those are joyful moments when I'm like seeing the park, seeing the green, experiencing, listening to the leaves, rustling, and the gentle breezes, or even if it's like a cold breeze, whatever. But those moments bring me joy, so I just think of that. Or it could be like when you're eating your favorite food, you
Yeah.
know. I was just thinking about that. I was thinking, oh,
Well,
like when I'm eating chocolate cake.
for me, that day it was a great experience because earlier that day, my daughter had sent the video, like I said, of my grandson singing, and
Oh,
for people who don't know, Prince doesn't speak, and so when he was singing and that video was just so emotional. It was just so that's what I used for that session, and so and it made that session so amazing, right? Being able to allow yourself to be so vulnerable and share those moments and let people in and just people, and it was like the only person I knew
mhm,
was you. Yeah, I didn't know anyone else there. But it was still such a great experience. It was still such wonderful energy and something that, like, all right, I think I want to do this every time you have this. This is something that I would like to be a part of because it's something you need, right? It's
yeah,
something you need a moment for to find joy. Like we that's something we're lacking so much is taking time every day to be joyful about something.
yeah,
And when we can start our day off that way, it makes it so much easier.
yeah.
At least that's how I'm feeling. Like being able to have this the session before we did the recording we did, it was great. Like so,
It really does make a difference. And, you know, when you find that joy and connect it to your heart, and you know, heart and joy, those two things combined create that coherence
mhm,
where that energy just spreads, and it goes through you, and then it goes out, right? And you can even project that energy to certain people. Like, I know that when I was in Tokyo in October, and my sister and I had to work together to do, cleaning out a storage unit. And I knew there was going to be some tension, right? So I did heart coherence the whole time that I was with her. And I actually taught it to her too for different reasons, and it really helped with that. I think because And of course, cleaning out storage units means we were going through old family things as well, that brought back lots of memories of our parents when we were kids and all that. So it can be stressful. So I figured, it would help to do that. And like I said, this is something that I've been doing since April of this year. And it just so happened that the person that teaches it is his name is Andreas. I had interviewed him in one of my groups, and I said, "Hey, do you want to do this like as a ongoing thing? Do you want to do it?" At first, I said, "Do you want to do it in my group? Teach it to my people in the group?" And he's like, "Yeah, let's do that." And then we were like, "Oh, you know what? It feels so good. Let's continue doing it." So we started doing it once a month, pretty much, and it's been kind of difficult because he is in Australia and they have like time changes like
Mhm.
we do. They change the clock and we change the clock. So sometimes it was like mixed up times and stuff like that. But
Yeah, no,
be-
I actually, it's funny because I actually, for stuck in my mind, interviewing someone, and she's in Brisbane, and
yeah,
so I'm our time is gonna be 8 o'clock at night, right? But over there, it's probably like 11 o'clock in the morning, whatever, 1 o'clock in the morning,
yeah,
afternoon, whatever it's whatever it is. But it's the day, they're
after.
the day ahead of us. They're a day ahead of us, whatever, not after. They're a day ahead of
Yeah,
us. We're behind.
yeah,
So I'm technically gonna be talking into the future,
yes,
sort of.
yes. It is. Yeah, you're talking to the future basically. And it's fun, but it's fun, when you work that out. And it's worked out really well. And we've been pretty consistent with it. And and I've gotten a lot of people to experience it. And once they've experienced it, some people take to it. Some people like, I'm not so sure I like this. I've had people that are very resistant to it. This is not my thing. I can't do this, and that's okay. If my energy, whatever love that I have, or whatever intention, good feelings that I want to connect with them, so that they feel the energy that connecting with them, instead of forcing it on them to say do this, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
and this is something that I'm going to be including into my 8-week course that I'll be launching in January as well, for weight health. And yeah, I still haven't come up with a name for it. I'm looking for a cool name for it, but it'll come. Um, but I will be launching it, and this is the first lesson that we're going to do is heart coherence, because it would just be good, like you were saying, right? It's just good to give clarity to yourself because you're connected with who you are as well.
Yeah, no, I just felt that it would be beneficial for everyone, right?
Yeah,
I just feel that if by me including it into my workshop, into what I want to do, the person who's taking the course, or whoever, whatever, however
yeah,
I finally decide to work it, that they start off on the right mindset, that they start off with an open heart, where they start off so positive, and that what they're going to learn is they're able to receive it with with such a warmth and caring feeling, and that's what I got from that. My experience was like, this
yeah,
is something that I want to implement, maybe at the beginning, like before we start. Hey, maybe we can take a moment to just breathe and open your heart, and just, and yeah, so whatever it is, I'm gonna work on it.
mhm,
I'm gonna tweak it so that
yeah,
it works for me. And
yeah,
again, find it, like you said, there's some people are resistant to it, and that's fine, because it's not, everything is not for everyone.
yeah,
Everyone has certain beliefs and certain things that they don't agree with, and that's fine.
yeah,
It You have to run with what works for you.
yeah. And if anything, it could be just a moment of, for some people that find it, a little resistant, it could be just a moment of reflection and connecting with yourself, right? Um, they don't have to believe in all that think if they think it's woo woo, it's woo woo. So, but it's actually science. But it just gives you more clarity and focus on who you are, and it really shifts the focus of perspective onto yourself and to what you connect with, who you are. And I think that's important when you start off with anything. So I think, yeah, it was a really great experience. I've been doing it for a while now. Um, so every time my walks with my dog in the evenings, I've also started using it before I go to sleep because I want to get better sleep too. So I
Yeah.
want to wake up refreshed, right? And it's like you could use it any way that you want so that you could use that energy to kind of manifest things or magnetize things to you because like I said, your heart is magnetic. So I think, yeah, it's just a beautiful way of working with energy, working with who you are, and reflecting on your true self.
Yeah, it's important that, and it's important because for years, right, it was frowned upon, right, for you to really focus on self, right? Because then people be like, "Oh, you're selfish." But in order for me to serve the people that I want to serve, I also need to take care of myself. So, in order for me to be able to serve others, I need to take time to recharge my batteries. I need to take time to self care. So those moments to take from me, like this moment, you need this. Like then it has to be time for me to recharge and refill myself. Because
Definitely.
how do you expect to serve anyone if you're empty?
Exactly. And, it's that whole, I always say this, but it's that whole oxygen mask story of, when
Mhm.
you're in a plane, they say put the oxygen mask on yourself first and then help someone. Because if you're not functioning, you can't help anyone else.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think we tend to forget that.
because it's like if we help ourselves, we're selfish, right? And that's not, and that's the shame that we think that way. But you really do need to take care of yourself. You like no one else will. Like, so how do you expect to function if you're not 100%, if you're not filling yourself up, if you're not going out there and recharging your battery and not resting and not taking care of yourself and not eating properly, all these things affect you.
Yeah. And I don't know, I just had this image in my head of, when, those three-legged races when you tie your legs with somebody
Oh
else
no,
and
and
yeah,
there's no cohesion. Yeah.
yeah, that's what happens, right? If one person's not doing well, you're going to fall down.
Hmm.
So I think, and, you know, in society, we're all kind of connected like that, right? Especially the close relationships we have. So if one person falls down, the rest kind of falls down with it. So we have to think about that, which means self care is so important that each person has to regulate how they're feeling and where they are. And, you can't always be relying on somebody else to be taking care of you, too.
Yeah. No.
And yeah, but like you said, society has very much said to us, "Oh, you're being selfish," but it's not being selfish. It's self-care, and that's why that word self-care came into play
Hmm.
because it is so important, and mental health and all that.
And one like this. So one of the things that's always been said, right? Well, happy wife, happy life, right? But then if you like, okay, it should be happy spouse, happy house, right? Because when you're both happy, the household is so much more at peace, so much better.
Oh yeah,
So it should always be like I love to cook and make breakfast for my wife. Like, right, that's my thing.
Oh,
That's what I do for her. Make when I'm home with her, I make her breakfast. I bring her coffee, and but that's by my choice, right?
right.
And so, but I'm the one who cooks. Like that's fine. I'm good with that.
But it's, yeah, and those little gestures are just so important, I guess, in any relationship, because you're basically showing someone else that you care.
Yeah,
And those are like little gestures of love, caring, and it's important to show that because people need to know that they're cared for and they're loved. And I think that right now in society, we don't see enough of that because people feel like, oh, I have to be cool. I can't be mushy, things like that. And that's not true. It's, going back to the heart. When you're showing your heart and connecting from the heart, things just flow better between people.
like when Charlie Kirk passed, me and you, we didn't agree with his views or whatever. We weren't a fan of his, but we were very respectful.
Yeah,
And we we don't because we don't condone violence on anyone. We don't want anyone to be hurt. We don't want anyone to be murdered. Whatever, doesn't matter. And so we had a situation this week where Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle were murdered by their allegedly by their mentally ill son, and someone who in a very distinguished office said some very disturbing stuff, right? Because that's
yeah,
the kind of person he is. He's a narcissist, and he has to turn the moment into him,
right.
and that's why it's been crazy that these last 16 years or whatever it is, 12 years, because of the way these politics are so dividing, and 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 and, and there's just so much,
Tension.
yeah, like when at the bottom line, we all truly want the same thing, right? We want happiness. We want to be heard, but we also want to have healthcare. We need to have healthcare that's affordable. That's not draining on us. That's like
It's a
regular people
basic
like us,
human need.
like regular people like us who aren't millionaires have to have to struggle to pay for healthcare.
I know. And it's it's really boils down to greed. I hate to say this. And you know, it goes back to me, I think about in the Middle Ages when there was, when there was the king and then there was the, people in the court, in the royal courts,
Hmm.
and then you had the serfs, right? And we're kind of like the serfs, or that's how it looks like, right? And we're being treated that way. And it's really sad because it, the message, I, I don't know if I should be so political, but the message that I get is that, oh, they don't matter. We're the only ones that matter. And that shouldn't be. I mean, the reason that the United States exists is because we resisted, we, I, well, yeah, I feel, we resisted the rule that was in Britain at the time and decided that we wanted freedom of religion, right?
Yeah,
Many of us. That's why we, made the trip, which was like, it's not an easy trip from Britain to, the US back in those days, right? By ship to come to this country that nobody really knew about, just kind of heard about, right? And
yeah,
decide to, build a country for themselves. And I think it's really about honoring people's freedoms
mm,
and also honoring basic human needs
yeah,
because healthcare should be a basic human need that It's our birthright, really.
And it's ridiculous that people are being denied basic medical treatment because they don't have health care,
Yeah,
because they don't have insurance. So it's a shame. It,
it is.
it's something that everyone should like. For me, it blows my mind, right? Because, and again, we're not trying. But this is not a political show, but these are facts.
Yes.
Someone like if I was to get fired from my job, right? I would no longer be eligible to be on their health care package, right? So why is it these senators and congressmen who serve office, once they leave office, why do we continue to pay their insurance? Like, why don't they pay their own life health insurance? Why do the American tax dollars have to keep providing for people who are no longer serving us? If you are no longer serving the people, then you should no longer have benefits. Like any job, you lose your benefits when you leave that job. So
Yep.
again,
Yeah.
this is something
You
that,
know,
yeah, it's a
it's
shame.
rigged.
It is. It is. It is. It is.
Yeah, I mean, because the people they're the ones that created the law. So they're like, you know what? We're gonna make it so that it's easy for us.
Of course.
And they're probably rationalizing that it's fair because they served already.
No, 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 no.
I
You,
agree. I
you no
agree, but
longer serve us, so you no longer should be.
yeah,
We should
and
no
that's
longer, we should no longer be flipping the bill for you. So
and
yeah, no, that
yeah,
doesn't work for me.
and they believe that they're the exception to the rule.
No,
It
no.
doesn't apply to them. They feel entitled.
Yeah, no, and where and like at what job do we vote
No,
on our own raises? I don't understand that. And that
it's
to
not.
me, all this
Yeah.
is just is so.
I mean, if that were the case, then let me vote on my own raise,
Yeah,
you know? And then they go, oh no, then it'll create too much chaos.
yeah, no.
Well, I'm like, you know, sorry, I was going to
Mhm.
get potty mouth, but
Mhm.
yeah. And it's really about this country is supposed to be based on freedom. It should be that all of us should have our basic human rights. And
Mhm.
healthcare should be a birthright. It should be, I think we're the only country in the world that I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that, so I'm not going to make that statement. But of the industrialized countries, I think we are one of the, I think of, yeah, many of the industrial countries, we're one of the only ones that punish people for not having health care or having to pay for health care.
Yeah,
Because I know in Japan, I think 80% of healthcare is covered by the government, national healthcare, 80%. And it's not crappy stuff, it's decent healthcare. I know that because a lot of people, I mean, yeah, it's good healthcare. And I know that other countries, they have, even Canada, right? They have national healthcare.
yeah,
I mean, it's not as good, probably, but it's still something. And I think, and that's why when I'm going to go into like Obamacare and all that, when we got that, it was such a big triumph because it was giving that gave them access to healthcare.
yeah,
And hospitals, are in a real pinch because and well, not hospitals, let's say doctors and nurses and healthcare practitioners. Because I remember when I was in the emergency room, um, I've been in the emergency room a little too frequently in the last couple of years, but and these are all because I fell. But I would watch. I'd be, because I have to wait in the emergency room for doctors to see you, right? And I see all these patients. Some of them are in pain, they're moaning and they're crying. I'm in pain. I'm in pain. And you see people, unless it's life threatening, the doctors can't really do anything until, um, or they can't administer different things because policy requires them to do things with certain in a certain way.
Yeah, they have to be admitted and all this
Yeah,
stuff, like, so, yeah, it's just it's a shame. It's just a shame that this is what we struggled with, right?
yeah.
Is we like, I I probably half my check, no lie, goes towards benefits and retirement fund, and to fund my retirement,
Yeah,
right? So you're already behind the eight ball when a lot of regular Americans get paid because you're paying into your retirement and and in some places they don't even offer you that,
yeah,
right?
they don't.
So it's crazy that we're we're, we're just supposed to be such a
You know, we're
vast. Yeah, yeah, no, it's just
it's
it,
sad because
it is.
and we're supposed to be an advanced country. We're supposed to be advanced. We're supposed to be one of the leaders of the world, right? Global leaders.
Yeah,
Yet, yeah, the masses aren't really doing that well. And if you're a leader, shouldn't you be leading? Sorry.
yeah, no, it's true and that's why the they they continue to be they need to be there's need for people like us that are creating content like this that are willing to speak about these topics because it's important for people to hear.
Yeah,
People, yeah, is we have our moments where we focus on the positive things, but there's the times where we do need to speak on the topics like this because it's important that we realize that we're being taken advantage of, that we should be way more ahead than where we're at, and it's a shame. Like we 1% of the population shouldn't have all the wealth.
no,
Right? It should be I should not every like it shouldn't be distributed equally because we have more people who work harder than others. The people, I'm not saying that people don't earn what but come on, like
basic
Elon
healthcare.
Musk should not be earning $1 trillion. I don't care. He's not done anything to deserve $1 trillion.
And it's really about compassion, too. I think it boils down to compassion and basic human emotions and basic human kindness, right? To be human is to be, I think, with compassion and empathy. And well, you and I believe that, we're here to serve and for the betterment of our world and the betterment of people for the benefit of others as well. I mean, yes, I benefit from helping others because I feel better about myself and I grow as I help others because that's personal growth as well. It feeds into my personal growth.
Yeah,
And I think a lot of people that are in the 1% don't even give a blank sass about this, right? They don't care um, at all. And it's not about compassion, it's about self, their own self. And and it's what can I gain from it? And I don't think that should be the focus of life.
absolutely. Yeah, I agree. It's something that we need to work on, and again, as long as there's people like us creating the content and spreading the word and letting people know, hey, listen, this isn't right. This isn't the path. This isn't where we should be at. We should be in a much better position. But we
And
we we got to continue to just fight. Just can't.
Yeah.
You just can't let it go and not talk about it and not do something about it.
I think, yeah, by people becoming more aware of it and speaking up, I think it'll make a difference. And I know, I mean, there's a fear that they're going to take it away from us, right? They're going to take it away from us. They're going to take this away. But you know what? They're going to take it anyway. They're going to take whatever. I mean, the people that take are going to take anyway.
Yeah.
So we have to protect what should be our basic human rights.
Hmm.
And,
Absolutely.
just speak up. And if you can't speak up, you know, just energetically speak up so that you're fighting it or you're saying, look, just let's go with love instead. Oh gosh, I sound like I'm in the 60s and this is flower power or whatever.
But
But
you know what? But it's just been crazy, right? Because it's like we've lost so much decency. People are just because there are still people who were like, oh, they doubled down on whatever he said or whatever. But it was like, okay, you you got people were upset when people said things about Charlie Kirk, which is rightfully so, because again, you shouldn't make fun of anyone being murdered. But then it's a double standard when it's someone who you don't agree with politically. See, again, listen to what it is. You don't agree with them politically. That it's okay for someone to say the things that they said. It was just disgusting and something it shouldn't something that shouldn't have been said. And there have been people who have spoken out about it, which is good. But again, it's sad, and my 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 heart goes out to the family of Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle, and it's sad. Again, we lost an American legend. We lost
I know,
someone who told amazing stories. Like his that was his movies were so
I know. Oh, my favorite.
emotional. They're so emotional. His movies, right?
Yeah,
You think of what The Princess Bride, one of my favorite movies
that's
of all time.
my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah, right. You think about that. You think of A Few Good Men. You
Yeah,
all these wonderful movies that and what they all have in common was the humanity of his movies.
yeah,
So again,
yeah.
rest in peace, Rob Reiner and his wife. It's sad,
It's very sad, but
and yeah.
yeah. And it's also a reflection of what this society is right now with healthcare and
Mental health. Yeah.
how we yeah, how we approach mental health as well. Um and addiction
Hmm.
and all of that. And I don't know if there's a solution, but there should be a better way to and I think more effort needs to go into how that's handled. And yeah, um it's really tragic what happened. And I'm just, I mean, Princess Bride is my all-time favorite movie. It's always been my all-time favorite movie ever since I watched it. And Wish is like I was like, "Oh, yes, you wish." Or, my name is okay,
Yeah.
I won't go into it, but, you know, okay, you could tell I'm a very much a Princess Bride fan. Um, I don't know how many times I've watched it, but that, you know, things like that. And he brought a lot of his creations brought a lot of joy to people.
Hmm.
And for someone as brilliant and compassionate to have passed away in the way he and his wife did, is very, very sad. And it goes to show how, you know, mental health is not addressed and addiction is not addressed in the way that it should be addressed by society. Um, and I think, what we can take from this is that more compassion, more empathy needs to be given to people, and the care that needs to go for people with that are suffering from mental health, depression, addiction, that needs to be something needs to happen so that it's overhauled, so that we can take care of people like that, so that people don't have to go into addictions and drugs and all that. Because what was it? Just recently, I heard that there's a new drug out in the world that's even deadlier than what we've been experiencing. That's on the street.
Uh, it's just crazy. It's crazy. But again, we have to be able to have these discussions and talk about this because, like you said, we have to find a way to not demonize addiction and
Yeah,
mental illness and realize that, hey, this is something that we need to focus on and work on. Like this, as a society, this is like we need to have more empathy, more sympathy. We need to show that, hey, we're going to work together to combat this
right.
and figure something out. Because
Yeah,
I lost a brother to addiction, so I know what it is to lose someone who overdosed. So it's crazy and it's sad that this young man who's been battling his demons and I'm sure he didn't he I can't see him being in the right mind doing something like
no,
this.
no. Yeah, I don't know the whole story, but I kind of get a feeling that maybe he was high when this happened. I
Who
don't
knows?
know. But either way, the addiction part is what really, because I think when society as a whole starts really taking responsibility for teaching kids and accepting kids as they are, instead of putting them into, I don't know, maybe I'm putting them into little squares that they fit in perfectly into the little squares or circles or whatever they want to be boxed into, right? When you accept them with more love and compassion, I think it'll be easier for kids to even speak up, because what's happening with addiction, I think, this is just me because, I've been addicted to food, right? That was my drug of choice, to be honest with you. And food was my way of numbing my emotions, numbing my feelings. And and then of course, I was a smoker for a long time, and that's another addiction, right? Um, and that was also because I didn't want to feel things. I didn't want to think about it, so I just smoked them. And it's really because we didn't want to feel, because it was so painful. And I think having the compassion, being in environments and situations where people can express and not be judged by what they say, is so important, and especially for children. Because I remember even as a kid, I can still remember when I was judged by an adult for what I said. And I'm like, but I didn't mean it that way, but I was judged for it. Or like I remember, I don't know what it was, maybe I had to go to the bathroom, right? Frequently because maybe I drank something or whatever, right? And I remember my teacher saying, "Oh, you're going to the bathroom way too many times." And I still remember that. That was what, in third grade or fourth grade or something? And I'm like, no one should be shamed about things like that.
Yeah,
And
but
I
we
think,
are,
yeah,
but we are.
But anyway, so on to, but flipping that, it's really about compassion and love, and the heart coherence talked about at the beginning really would be a great way to bring families together. Even like I'm not I used to go to Catholic school, my most of my life was in Catholic school, not that I'm Christian or anything like that, so it's really weird.
Mhm.
But I understand how, prayer or families coming together to pray can be an important um glue for families to stick together when it is done from the heart. Not because religion should be something that God is punishing you for.
Yeah,
Sorry. I don't want to get into that part, but you know, um, but I do think that it's important that it comes from love and from the heart.
definitely, definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
But we've had another great episode.
A little somber, but
But no, it was a good episode as always. But thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Um, enjoy your holiday seasons. I don't think we're unless we do something Friday, because I don't. Christmas is on Thursday, so unless we do something Friday, then we might go
yes,
into the new year. Who knows? We'll
yes,
see. We'll
we'll
see.
see.
We'll talk.
Yes, we will. Yes. So, thank you for listening to our rant, I guess.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for tuning in and listening to us rant and like, let us express ourselves. Thank you so much.
Yes.
But have a great day and peace out.
Peace out, everyone.